What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video, I'm bringing an incredibly strong meta team here for the Great League Remix Cup, consisting of Quagsire, Charizard, and Dewgong. Now, if you guys have not built your Quagsire yet, this thing is now meta. Not only did it get access to Mud Bomb, which allows it to have the same coverage as Earthquake, but have that shield baiting opportunity, but Mud Bomb also got an increase in damage, and when you pair it with Stone Edge, it is very nice to have on your team in the Open Great League and Remix Cup or Specialty Cups. Charizard with the Wing Attack update, and also Drill Run here on Double Legacy Dewgong. All three of these Pokemon I would highly recommend that you guys build for your roster if you haven't already, and combined, well, it's just a very strong team. Alright, getting into the first battle, we have Quagsire on the lead versus Stunfisk. So a very positive lead for us as we can do super effective damage with Mud Shot and Mud Bomb. And we do see a beautiful swap out from the opponent into Mandibuzz. So they will catch the Mud Bomb right here, which is a great catch by them. But I do have a very strong answer with Dewgong. So what I'm going to look to do is going to go ahead and tank a charge move. I want to load up on energy with Quagsire so I can really dominate on the back end of this. I'm going to go ahead and swap into Dewgong now, which in this matchup, we are perfectly safe to no-shield everything, as Ice Shard and Icy Wind will make quick work of the Mandibuzz. And remember, at 50% HP with Quagsire, we aren't too concerned about the Pancakes. Their own Mud Bombs, they'd need 2 or 3 in order to take us out, and we already have 2 loaded. And as you can see, Ice Shard right there, or Icy Wind I should say, did quite a bit of damage. Now they swap back into the Pancake, and they decide to go for Mud Bomb right here. I decided to no-shield it, as even Discharge wouldn't KO from that range. I would have been able to survive, and we go ahead and go for Icy Wind, which is still super effective because of that ground typing. And now they're in a very tough position where they have to take me out with charge moves now. They cannot farm me down, so they decide to go for yet again another Mud Bomb, which allows me to get one more Ice Shard in. I come with Quagsire, and because I have so much energy, I can easily go for a Mud Bomb right away. This is going to be forcing the first shield of this game, or we just take out the Pancake. Mandibuzz comes back in, but guess what? We have a Stone Edge ready to go because we had so much energy stored up. Boom! Down it goes. Final Pokemon is going to be a Shadow Charizard. So what we're going to look to do here is go for Mud Bomb. I did go one turn before Stone Edge, but I had so much energy that they would likely lose count. And now we're going to go ahead and look to no-shield this and come in with Charizard in the mirror match. 2-to-1 shields, and we can easily go for Dragon Claws here. There's no reason to go for Blast Burn just because of how much damage Wing Attack is already doing. And Wing Attack, in my opinion, of the 3 fast moves that you should be looking to go for, Fire Spin, Dragon Breath, and Wing Attack is by far the best for the Charizard in terms of not only damage, but energy gain. A couple seasons back, it got that upgrade, which knocked out all flyers with Wing Attack incredibly potent, especially Charizard. And this is now becoming, I mean, you guys have seen how many videos I've put Charizard in the last week or two. I do it for a reason. This thing is so good. It is absolutely incredible, and those of you who are watching who use Charizard all the time, you guys know how strong it is. Now we have a Pidgeot here on the lead, and thankfully because Quagsire is a nice core breaker. I talked about at the beginning how if you guys haven't invested in it yet, you should because it's meta. So look at why. Brave Bird, first of all, it's bulk. It can easily survive hard-hitting neutral charge moves like that, like a Brave Bird. It has Stone Edge to one-shot flyers or do a ton of damage to flyers, and it has Mud Bomb coverage. So you have a core breaker, right? You can take down a Bastiodon and an Altaria. You could take down a Charizard and a Galarian Stunfisk. That's why Quagsire is such a nice core breaker. But yes, it is extremely weak to Grass-type Pokemon, which is why we paired it with an Ice-type Pokemon and our Fire Flyer there in the back. Now, Whiscash here in this matchup, we don't need to really worry about too much. The bulk here on Dewgong is incredibly strong in this matchup, and the Icy Winds just make it even better. And yes, if you are watching, if you have good PvP IVs, it is worth the Elite TMs to get yourself both Ice Shard and Icy Wind, because Drill Run is not Legacy. It is worth it. You will continually get Elite TMs over the seasons, and this is one of those Pokemon that you have to have on your roster. Before, with just Ice Shard and Icy Wind, it was fringe meta, maybe a little bit more spicy, but now with Drill Run, it definitely is a strong contender. We're going to go ahead and swap now into Charizard and force the final Pokemon, which is going to be a Quagsire in the back. Now, I spoke highly of Quagsire, but where Quagsire falls behind is when it's behind on shield. So as you guys are going to see right here, my Charizard has the 2-to-1 shield advantage, and I can safely shield both charge moves. Even if this is a Mud Bomb shield bait, I don't have to worry because I can get to 2 Dragon Claws in time. So there's always a give and take with these Pokemon, right? Quagsire is fantastic in a lot of neutral matchups or having coverage to flyers and tanks, but it's very weak to grass, and it's very weak in situations where you're behind on shields, and it requires you to get shield baits from the opponent. But unfortunately for them, my Charizard gained so much energy there that I was able to win CMP tie and take that. So that's going to be a good battle. All right, we got Quagsire Mirror Fight right here. Let's see how this goes. Obviously, there is no going for Stone Edge. It's going to be resisted because of the ground typing. So we're just going to be going straight for Mud Bombs. Now, the play is you could always build up to a potential Earthquake, right? But Mud Bomb is going to be the go-to move on everyone's roster. There's really no reason other than if you go for Earthquake and some kind of awkward setup of like an Acid Spray or maybe a Sludge Bomb for unique coverage. But ultimately, I think Stone Edge and Mud Bomb is going to be the moveset of choice here. Now, they do decide to swap into Mantine, hoping to catch the charge move. So I go ahead and go for Stone Edge here, and now we can bring in, we get a shield as well. We can go ahead and bring in Dugong after I build back up. This is also very important about Quagsire. When you play with it, its play is with energy. So you want to make sure you have that Mud Bomb. When you bail out, you have it ready to go so you can hit it for that CMP tie when you come back into that fight in the mid from the lead back into the later mid game, right? Now with Dugong against Mantine, Mantine can only do resisted damage if it's not running the Aerial Ace charge move. So it's going to be Bubble Beams and Ice Beams. Yes, Wing Attack is neutral, but it really doesn't hurt, especially with the Icy Wind debuff. So this fight actually takes like well over a minute to take down because we're constantly debuffing each other with Icy Wind and Bubble Beam. So I do apologize, but this is one of the longest mid-game fights you will ever have. Outside of maybe Bastiodon versus Bastiodon, like the good old days, if anyone's had that. Now we're just going to keep going for Icy Winds. Thankfully, it does neutral damage against the Mantine because of the water flying typing. And I want to come out of here, whenever you're playing Dugong as well, especially if you're just investing it right now, it's important when you're in situations like this to always come out of here with the charge move. See, that's why you see me building up. I actually did one extra Icy Wind or Ice Shard right there. I shouldn't have done that. But you always want to have a charge move ready to go when you're gonna be winning that next matchup, or when you're gonna be winning the matchup that you're in, so that you can instantly have a charge move ready to go on the back end for whatever comes in. In this case, it's gonna be a Scrafty. Now they decided to swap back into Quagsire to farm down, which is fine by me because I can come in with my own Quagsire and go for the Mud Bomb. Remember, I stored that energy just for this exact situation, which now forces the final shield of this game. So I got to swap into Charizard because the toughest thing, or the biggest lose con for me, is if I let the opponent Quagsire farm me down. So in this case, I come right in with Charizard. I go straight for the Dragon Claw here to try to take it out, and it doesn't. It survives with 1 HP and a Dream, so now I have to give up 2 shields because it might have been another Stone Edge. I think maybe they're 1 fast move away, but Scrafty coming back in, this is going to be totally fine. We can survive a foul play as it will do neutral damage, but not that much, right? Not that much. And then we go for Blast Burn, but they deny me the boom. Oh, I really wanted to boom there, and they denied it, and I think they did it on purpose. And I didn't catch the name, but if you're in the YouTube comments, you denied my boom. Good game, though, man. All right, we got Quagsire versus Toxicroak on the lead. Very positive matchup for us. We do take quite a bit of damage from Mud Bomb and counter, but ultimately our own Mud Bomb is doing super effective damage. When that increase in damage to Mud Bomb from earlier this season, Toxicroaks do not like that. Now they're going to look to swap out, so they make a beautiful swap there into Cresselia. So what I need to do, hopefully I do this time, we build back up. Yeah, we build back up to near Mud Bomb or at Mud Bomb. Yeah, get the Mud Bomb and then come into Charizard here. Now, even if this is Future Sight, we can survive, but we would probably get farmed down, but I'm going to go ahead and shield. Now, that's the reason for that is because I need to maintain switch advantage. I do not want Dewgong facing off against Toxicroak, and the Charizard's lose con is no shielding of Future Sight. So they showed Moonblast. I'm going to go ahead and no shield this next one because this is safe right here. We resist the Fairy type moves and we can farm down perfectly fine. Now we're going to see their final Pokemon because they're not going to bring Toxicroak back into it, and it's going to be a Galvantula, so we need to go for Blast Burn here. There's no reason to shield bait because we won't get to another charge move. Blast Burn will one-shot and it'll force that final shield. I swap into Dewgong now because I don't want to get farmed down, and remember I stored a charge move on Quagsire. So the Galvantula is going to try to go for another charge move, but they won't get to it in time. So we will be able to get to this Icy Wind here, which is almost going to one-shot. They swap into Toxicroak now, but we have the Mud Bomb ready to go, which is so important. Why storing energy on a Quagsire is one of the best things that you can do, as boom, takes down the Toxicroak, and then we can easily take down the Galvantula, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. Alright, moving into the next battle. We have Quagsire on the lead versus Ferrothorn. So a very tough lead matchup, but thankfully we do neutral damage on the back end. Now I come in with Dewgong and they swap into Toxapex, which is actually pretty good for us because we have Drill Run here for super effective damage. I also have opportunity to potentially shield bait as well with Icy Wind. Granted, they're the same energy, so it's not necessarily a shield bait, but it's a it gets that debuff when they think it might be the Drill Run, right? So we're going to go ahead and go for this next Drill Run. I'm hoping this one lands, and then I'm going to look to see if I can get to another Drill Run in time, but let's see if they throw the charge move. They do. Unfortunately, I won't be able to get to another one in time, but now I have a very unique opportunity where we can come in with Quagsire and farm down with Mudshot. This is a beautiful situation for us because we resist Poison Jab and Sludge Wave, and the Brine from a Toxapex doesn't do that much damage. It's only neutral to Quagsire, and it honestly doesn't do that much. Look at how much energy I'm getting though. I'm maxing out, like 100 energy right there. And remember, Ferrothorn takes neutral damage from Mud Bomb. So we're going to go ahead and look to throw these Mud Bombs, try to do as much damage as possible. And then I also want to look to catch a Power Whip on Charizard if I can. The timing has to be perfect, but let's see if we can do it. There's two. We're going to go ahead and swap, and we catch it! Beautiful! We used Quagsire to get this down to 33.33, repeating, of course, health right there, but they have a Tentacruel in the back. I think I played that to a T. I got the full farm down on Toxapex. I got the Ferrothorn down low and caught the resisted charge move, but unfortunately with the Tentacruel on the back end, the Poison Jabs are just really going to add up. Now I go ahead and shield the Scald, hoping to be able to get to 2 Dragon Claws here. I'm going to go ahead and throw the first one because my hope is to try and get rid of the shields here. Let's see. We get one. They have one more remaining, but I don't get to the next Dragon Claw in time. This is so unfortunate. I now have to dance the energy right here on Quagsire. We shield the Scald, load up on energy. They swap into Ferrothorn, so I'm going to go ahead and throw the Mud Bomb now. And I think, looking at how much damage I did, I should be able to KO here. There's one. We go for the extra Mud Bomb right now. And this, I hope, is enough because then we can beat the Tentacruel. But it's not. Ferrothorn survives right there. So good game to my opponent. Again, it's just very tough. That Charizard went down at the last second before I got that Dragon Claw. Had I got that Dragon Claw off, I think we would have been in a much better situation. But good game right there. Almost able to come back. All right, we have Clefable here on the lead. So this is somewhat of a decent lead, especially since it's a Fairy Wind fast move, I should say, and they swap into a Rangaroo. So we're going to go ahead and go for Mud Bombs. Now, we don't have a hard answer to a Rangaroo, but we do have the ability to soften it up, especially since they shielded. I'm going to go ahead and go for the Stone Edge now, looking to do as much neutral damage as possible, and then come in with Dewgong. We've already gotten a shield. Charizard is a great answer to Clefable, where we resist the Fairy Wind, the Meteor Mash, and the Moonblast. So now Dewgong right here is in a good position where we can safely go for Icy Wind We're going to have a decent amount of health left as well, which is going to force the Clefable to have to throw a charge move in order to take us out. They won't be able to farm us down with Fairy Wind. And they probably want to throw it before we get to an Icy Wind, which they do. So they're going to go ahead and throw. This is fine. I'm going to come in with Charizard now and look to load up on energy, and my opponent swaps out into a Hypno. So now this is still a very tough position for me, because this Hypno likely has a Thunder Punch, and Charizard's Blast Burn is going to get shielded. So my play here is to catch the charge move on Quagsire, predicting, that was 4 confusions, that it's Thunder Punch. And it was beautiful. That's resisted, which now we can go, but they decide to surrender. So that's going to be a good game. Well played. We still had 2 shields, right? We go for Mud Bombs there, double Mud Bomb, and then Charizard farm down. You guys get it. All right, Alolan Sandslash here on the lead. Very positive for me. They bring in a Cresselia. So this is, again, a tough position where I try to catch the charge move there. I think I was a bit early looking at it. I could have swapped in maybe 1 or 2 Psycho Cuts later. But they decide to go for Moonblast, which is fine by me. And I can easily come out of this matchup winning this matchup, but I will have to give up a shield, unfortunately. And I'm going to look to farm down. So I'm going to go ahead and give up a shield here. And then this is the tough call, is can I fully farm down with Wing Attack? And we're going to have to read this. It's not looking like it, so now I'm going to go for Dragon Claw. But I am ahead on energy compared to Alolan Sandslash, which might try to come in. Now they decide to go for the shield, which is perfect because now I can go for another Dragon Claw here to take out the Cresselia or get 2 shields, and they decide to let it go. Now we're going to see that Sandslash come in and try to farm me down, and unfortunately I can't get to the Blast Burn in time. That would have been beautiful if I could, but getting a Dragon Claw off for some chip damage and forcing a shield there. Now they make a beautiful swap into Scrafty. I'm like, oh no, this is not looking good. But thankfully, Quagsire only takes neutral damage from Scrafty, right? Counter, Power Up Punch, and Foul Play. And the Mud Bombs just add up 3 Mud Bombs and it's over. So I can safely look to shield right here. We're going to go ahead and give up a shield. It was a Power Up Punch, but they shouldn't be able to get to a Foul Play in time because I had so much energy already loaded. So now Quagsire is just going to casually take down a Scrafty. Yes, we gave up our Charizard, but that's going to be a good game. They don't have enough damage left because there's still a Dugong. And remember, my Dugong has access to Drill Run, which has that coverage to Steel-type Pokemon. So this is going to be a good game. Unfortunately for them, there's not a lot they can do. Even though they did bait out my Charizard into Cresselia, it couldn't do that much damage to a Quagsire that already had loaded energy and shield advantage. So that's going to be a good game, very well played, as we can go for our own Drill Run right here and take them out. This team overall was very strong. I think the core of Quagsire and Charizard is nothing to look over if you're looking for meta cores in specialty cups, especially when the top Pokemon are banned. And it's beautiful. Now we have a Shadow Mawile on the lead and a Gliscor safe swap. So I just feel so bad for this opponent because obviously Quagsire just deletes the Shadow Mawile and Dugong deletes the Shadow Gliscor. Now in a meta when Steel-type Pokemon are banned, this is just going to be a team-building perspective. In a meta where the best, they're not all Steel types, right? The best Steel types, so Registeel, Bastiodon, Galarian, Stunfisk, when they're banned, Ice-type Pokemon become more viable, like a Dugong. And so, safe swapping something where you're not going to draw out a Registeel or a Galarian Stunfisk or a Bastiodon is going to be tough, because when you safe swap something like a Gliscor, you're likely going to be met with an Ice-type Pokemon, especially if you have like a Quagsire lead or something weak to Grass, because it's a neutral situation. So this is just unfortunate for them, and Dugong doesn't even care. It farms down the Shadow Mawile, and they have a Whiscash in the back. So that is going to be a good game, but this is just a team building, just perspective. In specialty cups, when the best steals are gone, don't safe swap a Gliscor because you're likely going to be met with an Ice. Now, you could safe swap a Gliscor if Ice are gone, right? So if there are no Walreins or Frostlass or Dugong or other Ice-type Pokemon, maybe Alolan Ninetales, when they're out of the meta, then yes, a Gliscor safe swap is beautiful because you don't have that risk of of getting fully farmed down, right? And then in this situation, it was just unfortunate for them that they led with the Shadow Mawile as well. So this is going to be a good game. I did see the Blizzard coming though. I'm not going to get boomed. I'll boom you, but I'm going to try my best to stop you from booming me. So we're just going to go ahead and go for the Mud Bomb. That's going to be a good game, very well played. But I wanted to include that battle just to talk about. I know it wasn't anything like impressive playstyle-wise. We had some other good battles earlier, but that's just a team-building mentality when you look at building your teams for specialty cups and whatnot. All right, so we got Jellicent here on the lead. So a pretty neutral lead overall. And with Mud Bomb, it just really starts to add up. And I'm not too concerned about like winning lead in the case of like I have to because I know it's in the back. But they make a swap into Mandibuzz right as I go for and so I go for the Stone Edge. But the reason why I decided to shield there is I was reading that, you know what, they're staying in with Jellicent and maybe they're weak in the back. So my anticipation here is going to be something that can beat grass-type Pokemon. So maybe there's a fire in the back. And we do see a Mandibuzz, so that's going to be something that beats a grass-type Pokemon. In this situation as well, we can fully farm down. So I think we're set up pretty good here. And again, I always say this if you guys have been watching my videos, especially the longer into the video. My decisions are based on reading what my opponent does or doesn't do. And in this case, they wanted to stay in with Jellicent. So I had the thought that, you know what, they're weak in the back. Now, they decided to go for Shadow Ball right away, so I'm going to come in with Quagsire once again. Obviously, I can't come in with Charizard, especially in a shield deficit. So I have to come in with the Quagsire and go for Mud Bombs. They start shielding, which is perfectly fine. And now it's like, okay, what could they have in the back? I think I can survive, and it is just going to be Surf. And now I'm going to go ahead and go for Mud Bomb. And if they shield this, they are definitely weak in the back. Now, it could be something like a Alolan Sandslash. And so I'm going to go ahead and swap into Charizard now because they can't get to 2 charge moves before I get to a Dragon Claw. And if there is something in the back that's weak to fire, which I'm now reading is a potential steal, right? We've seen Mandibuzz and Jellicent. Alolan Sandslash is weak to fighting, so those two cover that. And the Alolan Sandslash also covers Ice-type Grass-type Pokemon. And I think they decided to leave the game. So let's see what it actually is. Yeah, they left the game. The Pokemon should already be on the field. It was a Galarian Weezing. I'm like, okay, that is 100% not what I was reading. But look at what it is. It's a part poison typing, so it was very weak to Quagsire. Now, in this situation, we would have still won the game because of our ability to get to the Blast Burn in time. So that is going to be a good game, very well played. But the team reading, the read there that they are weak somehow in the back to Quagsire was correct. I was thinking it was going to be more of a steal, so an Alolan Sandslash, given the 2 Pokemon that we saw, but it happened to be a Poison Fairy. So either way, good game. This team is incredibly strong and incredibly meta. All 3 Pokemon, 100% suggest you guys invest the Stardust and Elite TMs to make them happen. Charizard as well. Wing Attack, Blast Burn, Dugong, Ice Shard, Icy Wind, and then Dragon Claw and Drill Run are non-legacy, so you can easily TM that. So overall, very strong team. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and like always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.